Nigeria's central bank has released inaugural guidelines for banks opening cryptocurrency accounts while retaining its ban on them holding or trading in virtual assets on their own behalf. The rules were published on the central bank's website and fleshed out the regulator's decision to lift its prohibition on banks operating around accounts for crypto service providers. Let's talk about that with Samson Owolabi. He's the Associate Research and Portfolio Manager with Zedcrest Wealth. Samson, Happy New Year. Thanks for joining us. Good morning to you.
Good morning.
What do you make of these updated guidelines from the Central Bank of Nigeria?
Okay, well, concerning that, I'll just say that we are just at it again, and CBN is here. We have a new administration. We have a new, new people in the system. So they are here with another new policy. However, the major problem we just have is that, this policy plus force, the fact that whenever we have a new administration, we tend to have a different policy coming. It tends to send this kind of a mixed negative signal to people and to participants in the market. They might just look at it and just be like, well, they are at it again, and they might not really take us serious. In as much as when you look at what they've stated there in the circular, it is still quite it's showing this kind of a view that maybe they want to welcome more people into that space and to improve activities in that segment. But I still think that people are still going to be skeptical about following this information fully and just saying that maybe they want to come back and start running things again.
Do you think it will boost activity in the crypto space?
I doubt that. For now, the short term, I doubt that. But as time goes on, investors, they tend to look at news, they tend to digest it and look at how it's going to play out before they take this kind of a tangible, valid move. So in the short term, I do not think that it's going to boost activities for now.
Let's move to the federal government and this immediate 50% deduction of IGR from agencies. Looking at, I think they're trying to close loopholes or so. What do you make of these new measures?
Well, these new measures, I think it is just when you learn normal accounting, you realize that it's actually a very good one. It's kind of creating this kind of checks and balances, because if I have a particular company, I'm funding your business 100%, then anything that you're making, you have to be able to bring it back to 100%. You have to be able to be sure that if something is coming in, if there's a particular person that has full capital that is giving that business and is the one overseeing the major thing, you have to be able to remit 100% to the person. And although it's kind of giving this kind of a centralized, let's say a centralized kind of system, because everything that they're going to be making now is they are susceptible to the federal government right now. But I still believe that it's going to create more kind of transparency and fairness in that space.
Let's put up the acronyms for our viewers, because there's a whole lot of OAGF and so on. If you can put that up. I think the OAGF, of course, is the Office of the Accountant General. Yeah, there we go. Accountant General of the Federation. IGR is Intelligent Revenue. MD is Ministry of Department of Universities. TSA, I think, is the Treasury Single Account. You work in wealth management for Zedcrest. If Nigeria was a client, how would you advise Nigeria to raise revenues? Because Wale Edu, Minister of Finance, he's saying they want to focus more on raising revenue versus borrowing more. So what would be your advice for the country?
I think raising revenue is the best position for us right now. Borrowing more is really nothing that we should be doing at this particular moment, because when we look at the Nigerian system, we still have the opportunity to tap. There are lots of revenues that we are not really looking at in this economy. I've worked in the public sector before, and when you look at the way books are being prepared, it's still kind of archaic. It's still kind of in the olden days. We don't have a structural system in place that can track revenues, that can really track the movements of funds. So it's something that we really need to look at. We still have a lot of untapped revenues in this particular country, and there are so many revenues that have not been accurately remitted. They have not been let's say presented to the government. So that particular thing is something that I think we need to do. Okay,
it's a crucial year, so we'll see how things work out. Let's get to fuel. It's been a big topic. In fact, our Director of News was just speaking to us, saying that there's a story developing somewhere in Ibadan with someone purchasing fuel for as much as 1,200 naira. We're going to try and verify that though, and see if we can get some more news on that. But what do you make of the NNPC coming out with this statement that they won't raise PMS price? I think IPMAN as well, Independent Petroleum Markets Association of Nigeria. Why are people releasing statements that they won't raise prices in a deregulated market, Samson. What do you make of this development here?
Well, concerning that, I just think that this is just a case of Nigeria and all his, all his moves and the normal government always coming out and just doing some things. Well, one thing about it is we tend to not want to face the reality at times. We don't want to face the reality. You just want to come out, give these people this kind of this hope and this positive vibe, and then later on when the reality now comes in, we'll now get to a point that we will now be saying that we don't have a choice. The government will now come out and be like, oh, we don't really have a choice, this is what happens and everything. But from the look of things, prices, the exchange rate is showing the price of oil and on the global market, and our exchange rate, the devaluation of Naira, is showing that we are really reaching that point if we are truly in a deregulated market. So it's just time will tell.
Will Nigeria burn down if people pay 1,200 Naira for fuel? Will the country just disintegrate? I mean, the people are acting like it's Armageddon if you have to pay 1,200 Naira for fuel. I'm not being dismissive here. I don't want to act like I'm some elitist, but going by the exchange rates, as you've mentioned, and oil prices, it's in the punch. There was a Punch headline yesterday. That's what the marketers are saying the price should be. So, there it is. So this was yesterday's Punch. So... Are we going to die if it's 1,002? I mean, it's the reality, is it not?
I'm even seeing the fireworks there. So, you look at it. The thing is just that we are going to walk a lot. People are going to walk.
Oh, you mean physically walk?
Yeah, physically walk.
Yeah.
That's going to be the case because, to be honest, some people might be able to afford it. However, when you look at it, the larger chunk of the population of this country might not really be able to afford it. So we don't need to push this thing at a time at people. I think there are ways that we can do things just to make sure that we don't just dive people into this precarious position like that.
Okay, Samson, so we're having this conversation, right? And we are informing people, right? We are letting them know that, hey, listen, there is an exchange rate trigger because you don't have refineries that are working yet. The Dangote refinery has got its 4th crude cargo. It's coming on stream. NNPCL is working on the Port Harcourt refinery. Updates are coming. But until those updates come, you have to import this fuel into the country. And there is an exchange rate for it. And you've devalued the currency by 40%, right? Sure. Also, as you've mentioned, there's a... tensions rising in the Red Sea right now with the Houthis and the US and the allies and so on. So oil prices are rising. These two triggers are causing fuel prices to be more expensive. Do you think the government has done enough of a job to communicate these things to people so they understand why prices are rising?
Well, that's just the thing. We've not really communicated it to people. We still need to have a way. Most times it's just research reports. When research analysts write reports, that's where they will break down the issues. And when the analysts come around, they speak about it. But the government is not really putting it out like that. They're not really there should be a point in fact that it's not just about releasing communiques or releasing a circular. You have to have an engagement with people. They need to have a nationwide engagement in which they are going to go to the grassroots, tell people that this is what is causing it. A lot of people don't really know what is causing the hike in fuel prices right now. So we really need to have a particular form of, let's say, a knowledge awareness session that is going to tell people about this so that by the time this increase is coming on, people would have braced up for it already and not going to come as a shock.
Samson Owolabi, Associate Research and Portfolio Management at Zedcrest Wealth. A pleasure having you, sir. Thank you so much for joining us.